Hey everyone. So I'm here to present my kitchen redesign project as well as the marketing project. As you all know, I'm at Novant Health Rowan Medical Center in Salisbury, North Carolina. So a little bit about Novant Health. Their mission statement is that Novant Health exists to improve the health of our communities one person at a time. Novant Health values compassion, diversity, and inclusion, personal excellence, teamwork, and courage. A little bit about the kitchen operation. So we are contracted through Morrison Healthcare, meaning any employees who work within the kitchen or within food services are Morrison Healthcare employees. We have a food service director who's wonderful. His name is Ross, and he oversees all the other managers who then oversee the hourly staff. We have an executive chef, a retail manager, patient services manager, a lead dietitian, and an office coordinator. Some observations I've seen from working in the kitchen for a few months is that management is very visible. It's not uncommon to see Ross cooking in the kitchen with the chefs, and it's not uncommon to see Katrina, the lead dietitian, talking with the catering associates about their weekend plans. What's awesome about this is that management doesn't stay inside their offices. They come out and interact with staff and make sure everything's going well. Staff, however, are held at different standards depending on who their reporting manager is. Unfortunately, we do have some managers who are better at discipline than others, and some that are more easily to talk to and problem solve with. This does sometimes create problems and tensions when there's a weak spot within our operation. The catering associates care highly about patient satisfaction, and that's awesome. I've spent so much time working with these wonderful ladies and one man, and they really do care about the patients. At the end of the day, they're not just punching in a time clock. They're doing a good service. They care about what they're doing, and that's really all we can ask for. Because of this, and because of their care and their compassion and their drive to help their patients, there are minimal absences or call-outs. People who are supposed to be at work come to work, and that's really awesome for managers of this facility. And staff are also very generally accepting of change, and they want to make Novant Health Rowan Medical Center a good place to work, a good place to receive care. So a little bit about the current kitchen design. Now this is very architectural looking. It's kind of hard to get a conceptual picture of what the kitchen actually looks like, but here it is laid out on a blueprint. The next 14 slides are actually going to be images of Rowan Medical Center so that you can see what the kitchen looks like. So on this slide, here's a picture of the drink and supplement room. We store all bottled beverages for retail as well as supplements for enteral nutrition formulas for our patients in this room. We carry both Pepsi and Coke products and supply Nestle nutritional products to our patients at Rowan. Here's another picture of the dry storage area. We have a stockroom supervisor who manages this area Monday through Friday, and we take inventory on Thursday. One project that I'm currently working on is creating labels for each of these products that go on the shelves. So the good thing about this is that if our stockroom supervisor is on vacation or gets sick, someone else can do inventory and take orders and be able to know where things go. And here's another part of our dry room stock area. What I'm really excited is the blue bins on the wall there. That's one of my baby projects alongside Jason, the patient services manager. We're redoing how we deliver floor stock, and that sounds like such a small thing, but to us, it's a very big thing. We're going to start utilizing these plastic bins on all the units, and we've actually launched it in one tower of the hospital, and we've gotten phenomenal feedback about it. So I'm so excited to launch it hospital-wide and see all the feedback we get from it. I think it's all going to be positive. It's definitely a more convenient, sanitary, and neater system than what we have going prior to this. So here's the patient services line, and at Rowan we do use a 3-bay system to serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner to all patients dining with us. Each bay has their own cooler for chilled items, and to the far right you can actually see Miss Henrietta stocking one of the bay's coolers before lunchtime begins. So they kind of work in between their dining times and make sure that everything's where it needs to be. Here's another side of the patient services line. It's actually right behind the picture that I showed you. And this is where we store all the supplements, the drinks, and the freezer items, so like popsicles and ice cream. And associates use this area to prepare their drinks, ideally before they build their tray, so that when their trays are done being built, they can just grab their drinks and go up to the floor while the food is still hot. Here's a picture of the catering associate's office. They use this to go in and check the computer to look at the count for the day, the census sheets, and to verify their diet orders. So even though they don't spend a whole large chunk of time in here, they're constantly rotating in and out, making sure that everything on their end is correct. And here's the last little bit of the patient services area. So this is the hallway where the drinks are stored prior to them grabbing them on their carts and going up the floor. As you can see in this hallway at the end, there's an elevator, and that's the elevator that they use to go up to the patient floors. Now, changing speed a little bit, here's a picture of one of the production areas within the kitchen. This area is primarily used for dining on call orders and to prepare patient meals for the serving line. Another picture of the production area. This area is typically used by chefs preparing food for retail sale. Now, back in the corner here is one of my favorite spots. It's the bakery. You can see Aquana in this picture, and she's responsible for making all the delicious muffins, pastries, and desserts that we have in-house. And she is definitely one of my favorite employees in the kitchen. She's making the sweets. She's sweet herself. I mean, she is really, really awesome. So here's our dish area, or a pot and pan sink, and it's a 3-compartment sink that we use at Rowan. We have one guy who stays back here all day because you can imagine how quickly we're generating things that need to be washed. And here's the salad prep area, and all cold items that are used for retail or for the patient line, such as fruit cups, and even catering events. They're all prepped in this area. And then finally, the dishwasher. It's very important, especially on busy days when we need the carts turned over fast for the next meal delivery. We've had patient census days so high recently, and the dish room has been the banging spot in the kitchen. Like I said, you've got to have clean utensils. You've got to have clean plates. So this area is constantly being used. And then here's another picture of the dishwasher from a different angle, and I just definitely have respect for these guys after spending a couple of days back there with them. Like I said, they are kind of part of the glue of the kitchen. I mean, yeah, the food's got to be there, but you got to have something to serve it on. So now that you kind of get a conceptualization of what it looks like, our kitchen at Rowan, I want to talk a little bit about the patient services area. So I've made this little thing that kind of, it's going to be interactive, hopefully, if it works right. So let me show you kind of how the current system goes. So the green stand for carts, or the food carts that use to house all the trays. They're in the hallway, and they'll go up behind the associates who are working at the bays. These carts, once they're done, they leave and go down that hallway and up the elevator like I had showed you in that one picture. So when associates need a supplement or drink that they've forgotten about, they have to run all the way over to the supplement cooler or freezer. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it does interrupt workflow kind of heavily. Sometimes there is somebody standing back by the supplement cooler freezer who can help deliver items to the associate who forgot something. But in the cases of busy days, everyone's doing something. There is no extra hands on deck. So that means stopping what you're doing at the bay, having to go all around everything, grab your item, and come back. Workflow, it gets really confusing that way. So the current layout does have a few advantages. It's in a centralized location, and we are able to operate the serving line with only one dipper, which is pretty important when you consider what we have to work with and how many staff we have on deck. The disadvantages is, well, this area is centralized, but it is congested. The supplements are out of reach. You have to communicate over a distance if there is another person back there. You're essentially screaming across the kitchen, and that can be really stressful, actually. So that's definitely a disadvantage. The third bay is hard to reach and serve. Just the way our kitchen is set up, it's kind of in an awkward location. And of course, with everything being so congested, carts arriving and leaving the bays can sometimes get a little cluttered, and especially when associates are running around grabbing things, it's just the ease of flow is not ideal. So here's what I want to do, and ideally this would need to have a lot of work done. So in an ideal kitchen design, the 2 poles in the patient services area would be removed. Now you can see these by the black squares. These are support beams or poles, whatever you want to call them, and they can't be removed. Ideally, I would want them to be removed. Because the poles are load bearing and can't be removed, we have to redesign the patient services area working with the space that we've got. In the new proposed design, the serving line is flipped and all the bays face the server with their backs to the supplements and the supplement cooler or freezer. And this design will help eliminate associates' workflow troubles. Catering associates don't have to call out to one another for items they have forgotten on their trays, but can just turn around and get them. They're really a lot closer than what they once were. And this eliminates the yelling, the miscommunication, and the stress when the kitchen is especially busy and noisy. And furthermore, the new layout allows for all bays to be in front of the serving line. Remember how I said the third bay was kind of hard to reach? Well, with this one, they're all in the front, and so they all can be reached equally. So here's the new design in kind of an animated format. If you kind of see how I've envisioned this, the associate would just go in the back, come right back up, and leave. It would be great. So the considerations for redesign are obviously the structure. I can't get rid of the poles. The cost, well, it does cost a lot to, I would want to get a new serving table, ideally, that would fit all the bays in front of. And so that would be a cost associated with it that I just don't have. And then, like I said, the equipment. So when I do this new design, ideally, I would have a longer table. I'm not sure with what we have if 3 bays in front would actually work. That's something that I've been talking with the patient services manager about, and we've got to kind of look at a little bit closer. So in my redesign, I think that it would be very simple. I don't know if it would be as smooth as I imagine it in my head because I can't actually do this, but I think it really would create great things for Ryan Medical Center. So kind of changing gears completely, we're going to talk about my marketing project, and I am so excited about this. So a little bit about our retail environment. The cafe at Rowan is operated obviously by Morrison Healthcare, and Tony is the retail manager, and she ensures that all operations are running smoothly in the cafe. She is a tough woman. Per the hospital CEO's request, the cafe focuses on providing staff members and visitors with health-conscious options. A couple of years ago, Morrison eliminated fryers from their account and utilizes healthier cooking methods. So while we do have French fries, they are not made in deep fried fat or whatever you make French fries in. Instead, we turbo bake them in this really cool appliance that we have. So we don't have corn dogs like we used to. We used to have funnel cakes. We used to have all these not so healthy foods for us. The cafe is open from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. daily, and during business hours, staff members, visitors, family members, and recently discharged patients may dine with us. The average number of checks per day is around 1,000, so we do pretty well. So my marketing project kind of fell into my lap. Earlier in the week, I was talking with Ross, the food service director, about the falafel in the freezer and why it hadn't been utilized over the last few months. So I've been working with them since about November, and I was like, this falafel has just been sitting here. Well, apparently Chef had purchased it as a specialty item for an executive dinner, and turns out that none of the executives liked it when he served it. So Chef was really discouraged by the negative feedback and hadn't thought to try to execute the product a different way. He thought, no one liked it, I'm not going to use it, it's just going to kind of sit there until it expires and we'll throw it out. I personally love falafel, and I really haven't met a falafel I don't like. I eat it about once a week from a local Greek restaurant, so I thought, let's try to recreate it like the Greek restaurant. Let's use our falafel and make something awesome. So since there was little cost that wasn't already absorbed into the budget, Ross was 100% on board. In fact, he helped me cook and prep all the items the day of. So he was like, yeah, let's get rid of this falafel in the freezer. So here's a little bit of my advertisement that I made. And I designed this advertisement myself, and it had it improved by Ross. He suggested that we display it on the cafeteria's TV slideshow from Thursday until Tuesday. It was kind of a joke how I came up with this. I was working with like a pre-made template, and it said happinesses, and I typed in the word falafel, and Ross came behind me and was like, I love it. So that's the one we went with, which was pretty awesome. So here's the exhibition station where I hosted the falafel pita. Each weekday, the exhibition station offers a unique dish such as pho or fa, however you say that, a wing bar, or a build your own taco salad. And there isn't a picture of it, but imagine me standing right behind there serving with a big smile on my face. I was stoked about this. I was definitely cheesing. So the falafel pita is definitely not complete without its toppings. So we were proud to offer red pepper hummus, lettuce, tomatoes, and homemade tzatziki sauce as a standard option with the falafel pita. Customers could choose to add homemade pickled onions or a spicy cilantro sauce as they wished. And since most exhibition items can be made into a combo deal, we also made a citrus vinaigrette farro salad with feta, arugula, and pomegranate seeds. We literally didn't follow a recipe. We just thought, what would be fresh? What would be festive? And since our food of the month was a citrus, that was kind of Morrison's thing, is a food of a month. Citrus, this incorporated that. So we were like, double win. So the combo meal included the falafel pita, the side salad, and a bottle of water for $6.99. I think that's pretty affordable because it's definitely a fulfilling meal. Some customers requested to forgo the pita and just get all the toppings on top of a bed of lettuce. You know, everyone's trying to be all low carb because it's the new year and we're sticking to our resolutions still. And we were happy to oblige any requests. We were just excited that people were trying them. The left container here in this picture housed the warm pitas, and the warm falafels were to the right. We decided to set out a plated meal for customers to view, despite Morrison not really wanting us to do those type of practices. We knew that this was a new offering, and we wanted to market it to the best of our abilities. We also offered samples of the falafel, which I unfortunately forgot to take a picture of. But I'm so glad we did, because customers who had never heard of falafel were initially turned off by the description, but ended up liking it once they took a sample. So yeah, we went through quite a bit of samples, but we ended up selling quite a bit of falafel because of it. So here's the printout that Tony receives each day about how the sales go. And so the highlighted ones, it's kind of hard to read because the font is so tiny. But from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., we sold a total of 56 falafels. 54 of those were the combo meals. And I asked Tony, what is the normal count for an exhibition item? How many do you normally sell in a day? And she stated that between 50 to 70 was typical for an exhibition station, depending on what was being offered. So at 56, I'm really proud that we were able to do just as well as any of the old favorites. And I thought they would sell, but I definitely didn't think they would sell this well. I was thinking maybe 30, and Chef had his bets around 35. So I was really glad that we kind of blew that out of the water. So the best part about all this was, and getting to serve for the entire time, was the customers' comments. And I was able to hear all of them since I was there from 11 to 2. And here are some of my favorites. What are those meatballs? What is falafel? My daughter from New York is always talking about falafel and how much she loves it. I'll have to tell her I tried it today. I heard about this upstairs and had to come down and try it for myself. This is so exciting. I love having something new in the cafeteria. Are you going to keep bringing new items to the cafeteria? We need someone like you here. And this is surprisingly really good. So the next day, we had some leftovers. We tried to make only what we were going to go through, but sometimes that's really hard, especially with a new item. So we decided to take all these leftovers and toss them with romaine and serve it on the salad bar as like a composed salad. That also sold really well. And we used all the leftovers up. So that was totally a win-win. My costs were we made profit. All the costs that it did to make this item also generated profit. So what I learned from this marketing project is that execution is key. So I don't really know how Chef had made the falafel prior, but we decided to deep fry it and then finish it off by baking to ensure that the center was nice and warm. He may have done a different way and it may not have been as good, but our way was really good. And also by offering all those toppings, kind of keeping in mind the local Greek restaurant, we were able to execute it so well. Positive attitude makes a difference. So Chef said to me that he thought one of the reasons why we sold so many was my positive attitude selling this item. I was cheesing. I was so excited that they took my idea and I was getting to share something that majority of the staff had no idea what it was. And so I was so welcoming with answering questions. I was happy to be there. And I wish that the same attitude was present with other members of our staff when serving items. Unfortunately, some of the cooks are tired by the time the meal period comes around, and they can be kind of grumpy. And that's something that we definitely need to work on and address, because I do believe that a positive attitude makes a world of difference when selling items. So to end on a kind of funny note, I just ate so much Mediterranean food, and now I feel awful. Falafel. Anyways, thanks everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this presentation. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask me in the discussion board. Thanks.